The three big ideas for geometry in third grade are shapes, attributes, and geometric reasoning. Students are just beginning to understand that shapes can be identified as more than one classification of shape. For example, this is a square, but it is also a quadrilateral, a four-sided polygon. In third grade, it's much more than just identifying the shape as a square, but the attributes that make that shape, such as right angles and side length congruence or equivalence. Students also are beginning to think about what all shapes in a category have in common and what they don't to place them into subcategories. For example, quadrilaterals have the subcategories of trapezoid, parallelogram, rectangle, rhombus, and square. As they learn the attributes of each of these shape categories, students will see that many shapes have similar attributes while others are more specific, such as identifying sides, angles, right angles, and congruence or non-congruence of these. For example, squares and rectangles have 4 sides and 4 right angles, but squares have 4 congruent sides where rectangles do not. Research confirms that it is not enough just to teach students geometry content, but students need to develop spatial sense and geometric reasoning as well. These skills allow students to visualize and discuss concepts in a way that fosters comprehension of the content being taught. To encourage development of these skills, students need to have meaningful experiences and interactions with materials to truly understand and be able to use their knowledge in real-world situations. Many of the lessons your students will encounter this year will contain a spatial sense and geometric reasoning activity to engage your child in a hands-on learning experience to complement the geometry content. Students will investigate sides and angles, understand congruence, compose shapes, and reason with changing attributes. To support the learning of your child in geometry, you may want to try the following. Challenge your child to use attributes to identify shapes rather than just stating it looks like a shape they are familiar with. Teach and encourage the precise vocabulary associated with geometry, using right angles instead of corners, side lengths rather than lines, parallel lines and diagonal lines. Ask your child to find similarities between different sizes and orientations of shapes. For example, how are these alike and how are these different? The understanding and knowledge gained in the third grade will prepare your child to master skills that will appear in fourth grade. It would be unfortunate if students do not feel comfortable using geometry to solve problems in their day-to-day lives, as applications of geometry are everywhere.